Welcome to Optimal Living and Thriving with Depression. I am Coach Versandra, and in today's episode, we are talking about how to live and thrive with depression while being a caregiver. Yes, I said that. Being a caregiver and managing your own health and well being because you are struggling with depression or anxiety can be something that makes you want to scream. I got it out. I got it out there. This is a real deal. It can be very challenging to care for yourself while caring for someone you love and you want to be supportive of, and all of those wonderful things that we want to be as caregivers. So today in this episode, I'm going to just leave you with a few tips because I know that our viewers are loving this information. Thank you so much for the inboxes, the emails, all the messages that you are sending me, telling me how you are gaining so much from these episodes. So thank you, and because of that, we will continue on this same path. So I'm going to give you some tips on how to manage that, and I'm going to also tell you a story. You know, we got to always add a story. So the story went a little something like this. I was hanging out with my dad, who I am caring for. He's 86 years old, and he's suffering from Alzheimer's. He's a very proud Black man. He loves his life, and no matter what he's experiencing right now, he is determined to press his way through. And so we were, doing our regular routine, and he got to a point where he couldn't even speak with words. He was feeling so much on the inside of himself. And so he reached out to me, called my name. He was able to do that. And I came running like I normally do. And he just couldn't, he just reached out. He just wanted to grab me. And I just grabbed him. We grabbed each other. We just held each other. And in that feeling, in that moment, I was able to experience what he was experiencing inside of himself. He was fearful. He was confused. He was frustrated, pissed off, all of those things combined. He's not recognizing himself in the same way that he has for 86 years. So in my feeling with him, holding him, being there with him as he breathed and relaxed and slowly came back to himself, I was depleted. So I had to get my ride or die list with my sister right at the top, Sheila. And I made that telephone call. After my tears got done flowing, after I got myself together, I'm like, hey, I need. But not only do I need, but I recognize that my father needed his babies. He needed his babies close to him to rejuvenate him, make him feel better, make him feel alive. We did that. She brought her best friend, and then on top of that, and as stories go, mutual benefits occurred. We went down to the Riverwalk. We had an enjoyable time. My dad stayed at home and had some time alone because he got tired of us after a while. He likes things in his regular flow. So he got a little tired. We went out, got away, but I got the river walk. I got the water that I needed. I got to get my feet in it, in the sand, and play around with some seashells and stuff like that. All at the Chattahoochee River, close by. But it was a vacation close to home. I needed that. So when I speak to you today, I'm talking about the fact that we were not meant to live this life alone. We have sisters and brothers, and whether they be of blood or not, there are individuals who love you and care for you and want you to be well, even while you're supporting those people who you want to be well. So in my list, my three top tips for living and thriving while managing depression and anxiety, I want to let you know that your list of support is essential for you, even if you're caring for someone else. Making sure that you are in a position to where you see when you are being pushed over the edge. You can only take so much on your own. So if that means that you need to have what's that thing when people are fighting and they're on the mat and they have to tap out if you need to. Take a break. Go somewhere and do something different. If you have to give a little bit of love in your loved one's ear and say, you know what, I just need a couple of days to rejuvenate, they will understand. Take that break. Stop when you need to. And then my final tip, there is a such thing that we speak about in the yoga world. We call it drinking as you pour. Imagine you've got a canister or a carafe or something filled with water and you are pouring and only coming out. There's only pouring out until it's empty. Imagine you reaching under the spigot, drinking a little bit as you pour so that you can make sure that you are being nourished. Make sure that you are getting the hydration. Whatever it is that you need, make sure that you get what you need while you pour. So that's what was occurring as I contacted my top list. I was reaching out. I was stopping and saying, no, I can't take it anymore. I am done. If I go too far right now, I'm going to see myself in the emergency room or something. So getting that support when you need it, tapping out when you need it, and drinking as you pour. There are ways that we can handle things more effectively, but we cannot, I must say, we cannot continue to push when we've already given all we can. It doesn't say anything bad about you as a person, but the fact that you do not communicate is saying something about you as a person. So if you need some communication skills even, there's people all over the place. I always recommend Toastmasters because it's going to help you communicate in every way, personally, professionally, and then in any other kind of way you need to. So that's a wonderful tool for you. I'm always going to give you some tools that I've used in the past and have been beneficial for me. So now I know how to express myself when I am overwhelmed and cannot take anymore. But I want you to be well too. As you watch this, there are literally thousands and thousands of people who are caregivers, supporting family members, loved ones, even people they don't even know. I've done that myself as a volunteer, a national service individual, just really supporting my community. But it's coming from the heart when you give from your overflow. It's coming for something different when you're giving from your reserves. Think about that for a moment. Is there any self-love involved in giving from your reserves? What will you pull from? So it's important that self-care is at the core of your day-to-day activities when you already know you have your own personal issues with depression and anxiety. You have a responsibility to care for yourself. So I say to you today, if nothing else, you take out of this short video clip, self-care is the manifestation of self-love. And if you cannot take care of yourself, check yourself and see why you do not feel that self-love should be at the top of your list. We're in a world where I think they say that the elderly are going to be more than the number of children in the world for the first time in history. I'll try to put some facts over here in the side in a little bit, but that's something to wrap your head around. So you have to be in a position to be able to flip the script a little bit, if you will. You have to be in a position where you recognize that, hey, I'm 55 and doing my thing and trying to get to my point of retirement so that I can pull away from the rat race, but I'm also in a position of caregiver. There's nothing that I can do about that. But I do know when I weigh everything, I want to be there with and for my dad during his last days, however long they might be. And if that means that I have to do some extra care for myself during the process to make sure I have longevity in this process, then that's what I'm going to do. Consider that. It's just a part of your toolkit, your wellness toolkit. Self-care, self-love. So walk on the Riverwalk did it for me. Being with people who cared and loved me and felt that I was special did it for me. I'm full now. I can get back to work. I can get back to the task at hand. And this is why I wanted to share this special episode. And I hope that you will take a moment with me as we breathe. Taking in everything that has been said today. Knowing that it's coming from a place of love, from a place of inner love. I love you, so I want you to be well. I love me, so I want me to be well. I love us, and I want us to be well. And as you continue to breathe, know that the breath of life is flowing in and around and through every cell in your body. You are being made whole at this very moment. Mind, body, and spirit, you are whole. You are perfect. You are complete. Namaste.
Thank God for the shelter for Sandra Kinneyrough's book on well-being. The part that I love is that inside she has an affirmation. I love receiving and giving, and that speaks to my spirit. In fact, that's who I am. I love to be able to really give, and I love receiving as well, because oftentimes, you know, we're not so acceptable to receiving, but I have learned to receive, and that causes me to give even more. So it's a beautiful affirmation, and Vassandra's book is a beautiful book to read and to appreciate and to go through the exercises and the experience.